Yeah.
In aircraft?
Yeah, I've done some search and rescue stuff.
That's right.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that?
A lot of searching.
A lot of searching.
It was after the storm, right? Is that when you were doing it?
Yeah, and like as the pilot, like I don't really do much of the looking. I just am like making sure we're not gonna crash.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to add a rescue to a rescue.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, mostly we just spotted. You know, we were spotting people on rooftops. You know, I'm not really in a position where I'm trained to like go set my skids on the roof of a house and tell people to hop in, which I'm sure we're capable of doing. But
remember
like
the guy that was helping us in the helicopter during the flood?
Yeah,
that guy was wild, dude. He would he was flying over, finding people, pointing down to us.
Yeah, and then we would be able to go get him in boats.
Yeah,
I think one of the more intense ones was JH and I came up on a guy in a truck that had just gone off the road, and his truck, it was in a U-Haul van. That's right. Or like a U-Haul truck, and the cab was in the water. There was water flowing through the driver's window, out the passenger window.
Yep. And the truck was like this, like it was about to flip.
It was so sketch. So we pull up, and there's water flowing over the road, maybe like this high. And so we put the skids down on the asphalt through the water, and like we're trying to communicate with this guy. And then we went and landed in the intersection, talked to this cop, and like they needed like equipment to get this guy out. So then we went to the other side of this flood, and we found
the guy at?
So like
he's in the truck. He's sitting there with his hands on the wheel.
Yeah, the guy's still in there. So like there was
too petrified to move.
There was there was like a cop over here, and then there was linemen on the other side, and there's probably like a half mile of water going across the road. Remember the linemen were treading across? It was crazy.
Yeah. So then we talked to the lineman, I think, and then the lineman took a boom truck, and they were able to like.
One guy was walking the whole thing in front of the truck.
Scene,
Just no instincts to get out of the car or anything.
The water was rushing so hard, though, he would have been taken further away from the road, and like I don't know, he looked terrified. But there wasn't. What's that?
It was already bogged, bud.
The whole truck was underwater.
So what's crazy, and we experienced this and saw this during the flood. Like you're driving, and you know you got to go, but you can't see the road.
Oh, it's so.
So you're like driving in 2 or 3. We did this in the Army truck quite a bit, and you're just going and like you're just hoping the road's still there.
Yeah,
you don't know
because some pieces of the road it would be gone. There'd be like a 6 foot, just like.
Yep. So you drop into that, you are done. You're done.
And the videos are crazy too because like it's broad daylight, nice and clear and sunny out, and then it's just like this rushing water of a flood. Like normally you think like, oh, it's a storm and a hurricane and the flood, but like that's like calm out.
I don't think the river actually crested for 7 or 10 days. Peace River took 10 days to crest. It got deeper after we left. They shut down all like it got deeper.
When we were doing rescue in the jet boats, we were in the tops of the trees. We were not like
people are trying to
navigate because you were actually in the tops of the trees, so it was so.
People were telling us like, yeah, I'm trying to get back there, and they're like, you go down this driveway. I'm like, you don't understand. There is not a driveway. It's gone.
Yeah.
I'm looking at trees. I remember coming in this guy's yard, and like we're hitting something. I'm like, what the hell are we hitting? And it was like the roof of a car, and I was like, oh,
did you leave your insurance?
Were you on the airboat?
Absolutely, yeah.
Is that just the best vehicle to do it in, just an airboat?
The jet boats were really good because they get in and out of stuff, but the airboats could kind of go like we could travel across the road, carry more people. So it kind of was the jet boats and the airboats were both equal.
Airboats sink easily too, so there was several airboats that sank while rescuing people, so they were getting rescued.
You really have to be careful and know how to operate. If you don't, you will. You know, you have to be very careful.
Is having something loud of benefit, or would you want something quiet so you can hear people, but then people can hear you if you have something loud? Probably. So if you're in an airboat,
there's a lot of John boats. I bet John boat's probably the best.
John boat is probably the best
because you could put 3 or 4 or 5 people in a John boat, whatever, and like that was probably the best. Yeah,
but the jet boats, like we could bash through trees and just bash them and cut through whatever. If there was just a huge tree in front of us, we could just like literally break it.
Yeah.
Does like the county have any provisions to really help people besides like an airboat?
Dude, it's actually super scary. After doing that, it's real scary to know like our government,
like you're the one that has to help.
They're in a natural disaster like that. you better hope somebody around you has equipment. When we left that neighborhood that night, the National Guard shows up and they're like, we're here. And we had literally rescued dozens of people. And they're like, well, we're not getting any more calls. Everybody's been pretty much rescued. And like, they unload this John boat. They get in it. They're fully geared up. They go 15 feet. Prop hits a mailbox under the water. I was like, we just told him there's a mailbox there, but it's really scary. Like, we had sheriffs on my boat 2 days later rescuing people in the neighborhood, and they're like, we don't have anything. Like, people were coming from all over the state and bringing their boats here to try to rescue people.
What
scary.
about like a hovercraft? Would that be a efficient?
No, not at all. Not at all.
Horrible vehicle. For anything but looking cool. Looking like a badass.
Be wrong not to ask, at least.
Yeah, I love to give hovercrafts more credit, but
Do you still have a hovercraft? I haven't seen it in a long time.
Dude, I got my 86 Scat.
Seen it.
Horrible vehicle. Did you see what Rich Rebuilds did with his, with the jets? Like the little jet turbines like you put on your B2?
Yeah.
He put like 3 on a Scat.
Did it not help it at all?
I don't think it was very good. Definitely like a hovercraft. It was more for looks.
Yeah. That's the only thing you do on hovercrafts. Look badass, make a lot of noise. Imagine like pulling up to rescue someone. There's water spraying. Like,
I'll get the next one. Just go.
Yeah. That was actually interesting about the saving people, like doing, search and rescue, is we would pull up, and by the way, Manatee County Search and Rescue, they have some sweet equipment. But we would pull up to like people standing on their roofs, and they'd be like, nah, we're gonna wait it out.
Yeah.
And you can't, like, if they refuse help, you just keep going.
You're gonna wait it out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, several people.
I'm not saying that we don't have equipment in our counties and stuff, but they have to go through so many agencies to use them.
Yeah.
The red
Like
flags.
they can't just jump in and go. They're like where I'm a civilian, I can just go and get somebody. They can't tell me no during that. Like, we did a few things, and they were like, we can't tell you no, but we can't tell you yes. And
Like,
it's
Greg's
all right,
the only one qualified to operate that thing, and he's not in today. So
it was
we're waiting.
like that, or like they were waiting to hear back. It was crazy.
Well, even like when Sanibel Island, I think it is, becomes like an island, like the
When
down
they
in
just did it,
Bridge went down.
the bridge.
well,
went
the
down.
bridge goes down. Yeah, like what do you do in that
Dude,
situation?
so, I mean, it was a bad situation, but kind of a funny story what happened there with me and Dalton go down there. And we're fueling generators for this company. Well, Drew was doing it throughout the week. I went down the weekend. And so we were all done fueling. We're like, all right, we're going to go check where our buddies were. And we're like, go make sure they're good if they need any food or anything. Well, we took a wrong turn. So we're in my Army truck just driving. You're in an Army truck?
Oh,
Go on through, bud. No big deal. We're going and we're
having a
following.
ladder.
Me and Dalton were like, man, there's like a lot of. All we see are dump trucks right now. Like, what's going on? So we're like going over like the causeway, and we get to the other side, and I'm like, oh, the road ends. So we're in the Army truck, and they're all like bringing dirt to fill it back in. We're like, well, we're just gonna turn around and get out of here. But they just kept waving us through everywhere because they thought we were in the Army.
they're on the.
they're saluting you as you go by.
No, I didn't almost go over, but like,
No, they're putting dirt to build the.
Yeah, they're
they're
rebuilding.
I'm like, we're like in my semi style one. We're just like, I'm like, guys, sorry about that. We're gonna go back to the base.
Yeah, just saluting as he goes by. People are thanking him.
We were trying to get to one place one night, and I had Drew and everybody behind me with their airboats, or they're in front of me. And they're like telling Drew and them, you have to turn around and go. And Drew moves, and they look at me, and they're like, come on, come through here. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm sorry, I'm not in the Army.
Dude,
Stolen valor.
I remember flying over and seeing JH's military truck and a bunch of people on it.
Yeah.
And I was like there was a lot of people. I don't know how many.
We filled the whole bed. It was like 20 people. We were
But-
going into neighborhoods and just picking people up.
I'm like flying over,
20
and
people in the
JH and I, we had like radios and stuff. But I'm flying over. I'm looking at JH's truck just like covered in people, and I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, this is some straight up stuff I have never.
It was wild.
Yeah, like legitimate rescue. Well, that hurricane took that turn south and just hit hard.
It always does. We obviously I've lived here for a long time, and like they always are like it's hitting Tampa Bay, and it always cuts through Charlotte Harbor.
Indian
It
burial
just
ground.
goes.
That's what I was gonna say. The Indians.
I agree. I mean, it's got to
Native
be
Americans.
something. I used to have BMX jumps
They
at the
still
Indian
are.
Burial Grounds in Palmetto. We used to ride our BMX bikes, and when I was a kid, and like I never got hurt there.
Oh, I was like, where the hell is this going?
Never got hurt there.
Dude, the wind were gnarly. I can't believe the poles at the Freedom Factory are still straight. That wind was insane.
And it came like the opposite too that I was thinking.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be coming.
Well, everybody was in Tampa. Like all the guys that were like storm chasing were up in Tampa.
Yeah.
I even saw like the storm chasing guy local lost his truck in the flood. There's that Mike's
Really?
Weather Page guy. Like
Oh,
his,
he did?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it got
I
like
see that.
flooded out, like cooked.
Oh, damn, dude.
Yeah, he had to like abandon it in the middle of the night. I was like, God.
Dude, have you seen modern day tornado trucks?
Like, you're talking about the actual, like...
The ones that like hunker down.
Remember that? Yeah, you remember those back in the day? Have you seen them now?
There was like that TV show.
Aren't they like
Bro.
F-350s?
They are
now.
tricked out now. This one I just saw, it made me really want to build one and go chase tornado.
Bad location
it's
for
like,
that.
you know how it's got like
Melbourne.
they're like tilted like a
So the
a
air
dome.
doesn't get under them.
Yeah, it had gigantic hydraulic stakes that also would go through the ground to hold it down. I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sick.
I just imagine some like random, like, oh, I'm here to chase tornadoes, pulls into some dude's driveway and just like puts his stakes down,
Just right through the concrete.
Why am I parked here?
causes all the damage.
It's like a rim of a car.
Yeah, just
Destroys it.
no care. Like, oh, it's a tornado coming through. I'm qualified for this.
There's a video I ran across, and the guy has two of them, and I don't know who it was. It was on YouTube, and he's like getting them running. They're literally just Suburbans, and that's what they were. Like the interior is like a Suburban. He pops the hood. It's just a 5.3, and he's just like, this one doesn't run. This one he gets running, and it's perfect. But the other one's like, this one's blown up or something.
Maybe we could build a sick one.
Yeah,
Well, Demo Ranch
can
had
do
that
it.
bulletproof Suburban. That would have been probably a good start.
That would've been good.
yeah.
Then he naturally
Destroyed it.
shot it.
Yeah, shot it up.
Guy had to just shoot it. I mean, it's an interesting one because it's one of those things you never want to know how good they work, or you assume they work extremely well.
Yeah.
It's kind of just one of those assumptions, I guess. But you gotta test those things.
Chasing a storm would be sick.
I'm down.
Like a real nader.
Yeah, I feel like that's a tough
dude.
one.
That's scary.
Yeah, but if you're in one of those cars, you're good.
You think so?
I saw
There's
a dirt
also
devil
a video
once
of like
when we were in Nebraska.
A guy
Saw this little
get,
dirt
like-
devil
Yeah.
spin up on a baseball field.
Did we see a nader in Colorado one time? Or maybe close. We thought it was like spooling, but it wasn't really.
I don't know. You can take. You know what's a good idea?
water spout.
Chase water spouts with a boat.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
Take out
see,
Mark Mitchell's
I'm
boat.
out on that one, bud. I think I'm out on
You're
that
scared
one.
of water spouts.
Yeah, dude.
Is the honey hauler
aren't-
still around?
Dude, I actually
modify it.
I actually gave the honey hauler away,
You
man.
did.
I gave it
What
away,
was that, a 16-foot?
bro.
I got a
Kind of
girlfriend and he got
boat.
rid
It
of
was
his honey
actually
hauler.
a 16-foot
Wow.
honey hauler is what it was. It didn't have a name. It was a honey hauler.
It was unbranded.
yeah.
All right, guys, before we get too far into it, I wanted to say hit that subscribe button if you like what we're doing here and want to see this thing keep growing. If you want to help the channel, help all of us get the best guests we can possibly get, hit that subscribe button. It helps a lot. It goes a long way. Let's get to the video.